Hello everybody and welcome back to Collector's Dream YouTube channel. Hope you guys are all doing very well today. Yeah, I just have to apologize for missing in action for about a week or so. I was traveling around Europe and spent a bit of time in Paris with the missus. So yeah, now I'm back to my Poke Cave and happy to say hi to everybody and just want to check in on what a whirlwind of news that's been happening in the Pokemon hobby and also to the world current events as of the last week when I was away from holidays. So before we begin, just want to do a quick a sweep on some house cleaning items. We are still trying to reach to 500 subscribers. So once we hit 500 subscribers, we will be giving away a box of the Journey Together ETB. And this one will go to one lucky viewer, and the contest details will be announced once we hit that count. And then there's also going to be more exciting news when we hit 750 subscribers, and also the target this year is to hit 1,000. So hopefully we can continue to snowball and build some momentum for the channel. That'll be great. Some other house cleaning work update will be got some PSA 10 submissions back, and just looking at it right now. The good news is, I got a PSA 10 on the Espeon, and then unfortunately, I did pull this Umbreon on channel. You can click on the related video and have a look. But then this one, unfortunately, only got a PSA 9 for this one. And then also graded some of the Terrestrial Festival, and then some of them came back as a PSA 10. Overall, the gem rate for this batch was about 60%. So yeah, it's not the greatest, but also cannot fault PSA too much for the result. So anyway, yeah, so those are the two things that I want to cover. Now let's begin and talk about the crazy Trump tariff that's been going on as of late. But yeah, let's not dwell too much on the way it's calculated, because right now these tariffs are going to go ahead regardless, and PSA have also temporarily stop the acceptance of all non-domestic PSA submissions. So this video will also discuss a few points and implications on what that means for overseas collectors such as myself, and also to the viewers. And actually, about half the channel viewers are from the United States. So I do appreciate the viewership from North America. So this is also going to be a huge impact for all of us. So let's try to ride out this wave together as a whole, and then hopefully we all come out on the other side, on the other end, unscathed. So yeah, some talking points for this video. There's a lot to go through here as usual, but I'm trying to keep the video around the 15-minute mark. So let's get going. The first point that I wrote down with the tariff is a lot of people saw this now infamous tariff chart that Trump presented in his briefing. But to have a look at some of the more detailed figures, I had a look at some of the Southeast Asian countries that the new tariff will be imposed. And it doesn't really paint a very good picture for American buyers and consumers. Because if you look at like China, there's now a 34% tariff for their goods, and then I don't know if it's like stacked on from the before already existing tariffs to bump it to like over 50%. So that's just gonna be disastrous, because honestly, if anybody runs a business out there, any entrepreneurs can relate, there's really not a lot of profit margin these days. You'll be lucky if you're making 10% profit margins on your business. So to impose these kind of numbers is just a death sentence for a lot of entrepreneurs and small to business owners and enterprise. But that is a topic for another day. Let's just keep on moving. Like China, like there's so many things. The US is very dependent on China, and shopping in Costco, shopping in Walmart. A lot of the products are built and made in China for a reason. So in the short term, it's not too easy to reshore the manufacturing facilities to the US. So time will tell. But then again, it's going to be outside the scope of this video. And one may wonder why we are even looking at this chart, and how does it impact Pokemon investing. So let's try to do a longer video this time, and I'll just kind of express my thoughts. See if you guys agree or disagree. I would love to hear in the comments, and if you guys would agree with the content or some of the things that I'm saying and some of my analysis, then feel free to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. So yeah, so just simply a 34% increase in tariff for Americans means that their spending budget is going to be squeezed. So on top of, we're all adults right here, we will have mortgage to pay off, we might have student loans, we might have, kids to take care of, we have health insurance, we have car payments, we have yada yada yada. So when you have a this percentage of tariff applied to your daily spendings, what does it mean for Pokemon investing? It means that now you basically don't have any buffer room to collect anymore. And on the contrary, on the other end of the spectrum is if you're running a very, very tight budget, you might not even have time to, not the time, but you might not even have the resources to collect anymore. So people will start selling their slabs, and maybe they will start selling, their new products, before they're like, oh yeah, I got a Journey Together booster box, but then now I cannot even, balance the the books. So we need to start selling these ones. So people might be putting these things on market now. So some people, depending on where you fit on the consumer spectrum, some people they can sweep in, like Warren Buffett, holding a lot of cash, or if you exited the market at the right time, you have plenty of cash to swoop in and buy at the low right now. But at the same time, a lot of people might be struggling, just to afford their grocery bills, right? So then those people might have to start selling and liquidating their collection. So it's there's an invisible hand at play right now, between the supply of Pokemon goods and then the demand for them, right? The demand is still very strong, but then you gotta, let's be real here, is that with the tariff increase and with the burden on your daily spendings, obviously previously you might allocate like a few $100s to spend on Pokemon. Now that might dwindle to like before you can afford a booster box, now you can only afford some loose packs or some smaller products in the form of ETBs or those tin cans and Pokeballs, right? So, and also with the Destined Rivals Japanese pre-orders is sky high right now for the box, because it costs more money to import the Japanese goods. So if you look at the chart, Japanese products is 24% more expensive to bring it into America, right? So yeah, the consumer is going to be paying the price on that as well. So it doesn't spell a good picture for American consumers. It's kind of the point that I'm trying to drive home. And also with this is also triggering a devaluation of the US dollar. So if you guys are following the US dollar conversion rate, it is now, the US dollar is not at its all-time high right now. It's not as powerful, and it's like becoming a weaker currency. So what that means is it's going to cost even more money to import Japanese products into the States. And that's like just the sad reality of it. So and I hold a lot of US dollars myself, so this is also an impact for my day-to-day. Basically the economy and the global economy is going to shrink with the introduction of these tariffs. And a lot of if we just run down the chart right now, Vietnam, there's a lot of manufacturing of clothing that gets sent to the US. So a lot of the importers now are not going to be, in the short term, they can eat the cost, but then with 46% tariff from Vietnam, then a lot of toys are also built there. So then toys, maybe Pokemon figures, some of them might be made in Vietnam instead of China. So then that's a huge increase, driving up costs to buy clothing. Taiwan, 32%. Yeah, so if you're running, AMD or NVIDIA chips, those ASIC stuff are manufactured at TSMC. So yeah, the GPUs are going to be more expensive. So another, do I buy Pokemon cards or do I buy a new, PC component, right? Either way, those things are, becoming more expensive for everybody, right? Japan, yeah, if you own a Japanese car or, like I said, Japanese sets, 24% more expensive now. So it's very, very significant. These numbers basically make absolutely no sense at all in the short term, and they're not sustainable. It's kind of like, what I'm trying to point out. South Korea, so they, Samsung, they make a lot of RAM and your, hard drive, your solid state drive. They are made, produced in Samsung, produced by Samsung, made in South Korea. now RAM and solid state SSDs are more expensive now. So like I only have a fixed salary. My salary is not going up by 25% or 46%, right? So what do I do with my limited money? More Pokemon, or do I put food on the table, or do I do this, do that, right? So yeah, it's like really really tough. And as you kind of just go down on all the items, you can see like some countries are hit harder than others, but overall minimum is 10% increase. Yeah, and then I guess Australia, there's a bit of a leniency, only 10% from stuff in Australia, and also Singapore is also 10%. So yeah, that's kind of the picture right now. And if there's no negotiation being brought to the table, these tariff might stick around for a little while. So what's going to happen later on is the second point, that the countries that got these tariffs are also going to retaliate. So they will also drive up similar tariff for their own citizens. So being in Hong Kong right now, we're fortunate because Hong Kong wants to maintain as a free trading hub. So then when we buy in the Pokemon products, so far, fingers crossed, we don't have to pay any additional tariff at the moment. And then in Australia, they might counteract with 10%. So all those Pokemon cards in English are printed in the US, so then they are considered US products. So it's just going to be more expensive bringing them in. And then in Canada, Canada is very, very hard hit because it's like a tit for tat. Whatever the Americans are doing, then the Canadian government is also counter tariffing the US. So for Canadians, it's also extremely, extremely expensive in the coming year to buy these products now. So what's going to happen is overall, however, is that it's going to drive up demand for sealed products. And the reason being is, if we look at the world supply, it's going to go down because a lot of the countries is going to be more expensive to import, right? So the world supply for Pokemon sealed products is coming down, whereas the world demand is actually remaining horizontal or going up. We, being overseas collectors, still want the Pokemon products, but then now it is getting harder to get our hands on them, right? And then if you look at Destined Rivals, it's super, super hard to get any kind of allocations right now. So the demand is crazy for Pokemon stuff, but then the supply is not leaving the US and reaching into the hands of the consumers globally, right? So with this kind of forces, lower supply and higher demand, the price only goes one way, and it's going to go up. And we can probably see, and later on when Destined Rivals starts to release in May, the eBay pricing will be very, very crazy. So that's kind of the entry cost, that the ticket that you need to pay for if you want to still open up products. But my advice is to buy it and hold it and keep it sealed, or maybe just wait until there's some negotiating between countries, so then the tariff may come down, and then if the tariff comes down, then hopefully it will reflect in the price. But I don't really, I'm not very optimistic with it, because once the price goes up, it is extremely difficult to make it come down again. Yeah, that's just the harsh truth. And then also that also leads into zone pricing now, because if you think about it, with these different tariff rates, what's going to happen is, certain European countries, or in Eurasia, they're, due to different tariffs, it might be more beneficial to buy products in the UK and in Australia, to buy the sealed products, and then use those as a trading hub to ship stuff to higher tariff regions such as China and Taiwan, or Japan, or in South Korea, for example, right? Because so then the products are making like pit stops at the countries and regions with lower tariff, and then being resold and redistributed there. And it's kind of funny that I'm kind of thinking and talking at the same time, but it's kind of funny to me that we live in 2025 right now, where the global trade have all these trade barriers now, and to talk about Pokemon products, we need to like a degree in economics to even like kind of dissect all these news. Like what happened to just looking at these, looking at just cards, and just having enjoying the artwork now, but nowadays, like just to collect a PSA slab is so difficult now, because they even blocked PSA submission for foreigners, right? So yeah, that I guess I can touch upon that topic very quickly. With us being not able to submit now on PSA's website, they just completely block off accounts that they detect are not US based. So what we need to do basically is to fly over to Japan, or if you have friends in Japan, then great, or shops that are willing to bring your products over to Japan for grading. That's kind of the situation that we're at this moment. We can only grade through Japan. And I guess I do read some of the comments from the viewers in my last videos, and then they're talking about a PSA office may open up soon in Europe, so that can alleviate some of the problems that we are coming through. But I also want to say that PSA right now must be they're sweating bullets right now, because a lot of the drivers and a lot of the money comes from overseas pouring into PSA for grading. They grade hundreds of millions of, not hundreds of millions, they grade multi-million slabs per month, and then when you lose the entire global market, it doesn't it's not good news for PSA. So, and also, I wonder if the materials that they import from are also from China, or if they're all in-house in the US. If they're already all in-house in the US for the material cost, which is very unlikely, because let's be real, the global trade, most people or most companies will be, have a supply chain that's global, right? So if you have all these tariffs, 20 to 30%, eventually PSA will also need to drive up the cost. The slab costs money, the machinery, just to everything is just money, right? So if it costs them more in material costs, can they still maintain a $16.99 grading slab for grading cost for bulk submission? Time will tell. But right now, I don't think this is really good for their bottom line, and it's not good for any of us, for our bottom line. So yeah, these are some of the points that I want to cover in this video. And yeah, I just want to say right now, what I will do, me personally, is I am picking very carefully on what to invest on, because of the limited budget, first of all, and secondly with the tariff. It makes collecting and investing in Pokemon very, very difficult, because it makes moving products very difficult. It used to be there's a certain liquidity to Pokemon products, and then right now that liquidity is severely restricted because of these tariffs. And basically, what I'm doing is I'm staying put, and I'm putting buying products kind of on hold right now. I'm not diving into Japanese products at a 3x MSRP pricing, because I'm used to paying near MSRP for surging sparks, or for battle partners, etc. But then now Destined Rival is at like over $200 a box, so I'm just not gonna participate. And a lot of people are gonna be sidelined. I'm sure I can speak with confidence. A lot of people are sidelined now with buying slabs, because if you look at all the Poncho Pikachus, for example, you look at all the promo cards, you look at a lot of the vintage slabs, the PSA 10 pricing is still breaking all-time high, because people cannot grade as easily anymore. So then they can only resort to buying it online or on auction site, such as the Golden Auction, PWCC, and eBay, right? So the demand is still there, but then there's just no supply. And the only thing that we can do that is within our control is to limit our try to have built some self-control and not rip products as often, and just kind of monitor the situation. Yeah, so the video is coming up to 20 minutes now, so just want to kind of check in with you guys very quickly and kind of explain to you guys, the average consumer's budget is now severely spread thin. They need to buy groceries, we need to buy pay the bills, utilities, and mortgages. So it just leaves very, very little fat in the budget to put it towards Pokemon cards. Let me know in the comment section if you guys agree with the analysis, and let me know. I would love to hear what you guys are doing or planning to do in Destined Rivals. In this climate with so much uncertainty, with the US stock market tanking and the global stock exchange is tanking, crypto is kind of tanking. What are you guys doing towards Pokemon? Are you guys liquidating some of your products and realizing some profits? Because I know I am. Like recently, I'm selling off some stuff just to realize some gains, just to have some more cash flow for the next purchase, right? And even look at precious metals, right? So yeah, I hope you guys like a more mature style of Pokemon analysis. No bad vibes here. Just trying to weave my way through all the obstacles, and then hopefully the Pokemon collection will become stronger and better after all of this. You know, this is gonna be a very challenging year, but I hope you guys stay safe and, you know, stay healthy out there. I'll talk to you guys soon in the next one.